If your phone's not ringing like you want it to in your business, chances are Google just isn't showing it to people who are searching for what you offer. So in this video, I'm going to be going over the exact local SEO playbook that we use to rank service-based businesses so they actually show up on Google without paying for a bunch of ads, so you can keep your phone ringing off the hook. So here's what you're going to learn in this video. Number one, where your business must show up on Google. So all the places that are most important, that people are searching the most. Second, the 3 pillars that control how your business ranks locally. Next, how to structure your website so Google actually chooses your website first over others to show people. And the last, the one shift with AI that's changing local search forever. So if you want a full copy of this playbook here, all you got to simply do is go to Instagram or even Facebook, search me up here, and then just send me a DM that says SEO Playbook, and we will send it right over to go along with this video. So let's jump right into the video. So let's look at the facts. About 90% of people go to Google first when they're looking for a product or service to solve a problem they may have in their home, or even in business for that matter. And if you're invisible, right, this is your company here, you're not showing up at all, they're going to go over to this company here, which is going to be your competitor, who's going to get your revenue. And the reason is not necessarily a traffic problem, like I don't have enough traffic to my website. It's more of I don't show up at all for people to even go to my website to have traffic. And those are the kind of people that are typically having to pay for ads and pay money for ads because they don't implement local SEO, which creates the visibility to get you to show up more organically. When people trust Google, so they're going to trust when you show up more often. That means that your website and your business provides a great experience, which means they're going to keep showing you organically to people searching you out because that's what they want. And that's going to lead to more leads, more revenue for your company. So where do you need to show up at? Let's map out 3 places Google needs to see you so you're not invisible. All right, so let's check out this Google real estate map here that I call. You got 3 different primary places. You got one, your Google business profile. That's the primary number 1. Second, your map pack, right? Third is just organically showing up in the search bar, or sorry, the search results with your organic website listings, right? So those are the primary 3 that you want to show up everywhere. All right, so let's talk about Google business profile first. So Google Business Profile, why is this so important? And this is really the number 1 that most people miss out on, is it's the first thing people see when they Google your business name or service near them. It's just this, it's like a short profile to show people who you are and get people to trust you. Like I said, it shows your reviews, locations, photos, contact info, everything's right there. Quick snapshot of your business, right? And it's the first way they can start trusting you before they move on into searching for more information, right? Next thing is Google loves people who are active on their profiles, meaning they provide updates, and we'll get more into this later on how you do this stuff here. So for you and your Google business profile, kind of a quick, easy tip for you is update photos weekly, okay? Post regularly and make sure they've got the right service category set so that you can move up in the map pack, right? And these are things that you can do. Don't have to pay a marketing company or somebody else. These are super simple. We've got other videos. We'll share them in the comments below, wherever, where you can check on out and learn how to actually optimize these Google business profiles. Okay. Next thing is the map pack. Okay. Map pack is hugely important because 44% of local clicks businesses go into what we call the 3-pack or the map pack on Google, which is essentially it shows 3 businesses and then a map of where you're actually located. Okay, these results are pulled from your Google business profile, not your website. Okay, I'm gonna say it again, pulled from your Google business profile. That's why it's so important. That's why it's number 1 and not your website. Okay, it's prime digital real estate, and that's how you have to think of it. You have to think of this beautiful storefront online that's going to be fast access, high trust, and mobile first. That's how they're going to find you. That's why it's so important to show up in the map pack. And you have to do that by doing the right things in your Google business profile, which we'll talk later on in the video. So for you, big things are this. 1, reviews are massive. Proximity, meaning location of where people are searching, and then activity on your Google business profile are going to be the biggest ranking factors here for you. Reviews are massive, and not just getting a review, getting consistent reviews based on how many jobs you're doing, and not just doing SEO on your website, which we'll get into a little bit later. All right, next thing Organic website listings is the third factor. So why is this a big deal? Your website still matters for people comparing options and they're looking for more information. Depending on where they are in the buyer stage, which we've talked about in previous videos, depends on where are they in research phase? Are they looking for answers? They even know what they need. Like sometimes they need a website to take them through that. And if yours doesn't provide a great experience for people to stay on it long enough, Google's not going to show it, right? Or if it's not clear to Google. So Google uses your website content to decide what's relevant, meaning your services plus whatever cities you're located in. And then it's your long-term SEO engine, meaning it's going to affect things even all the way down to AI, which we'll get into later in this video, where you want to make sure that your site has separate pages for each service and for the local cities around your market that you service, not just one generic page that throws everything on there. And we'll get more into this later as we go through here, but it's super important you do have a service page as well as a city page that are separate. That way it lets you know you're a local authority as well as an authority in your industry, and that's massive, and that's what most people miss when it comes to SEO, right, on their website. So now that we understand the Google real estate map, okay, let's jump into the 3 ranking factors that you can actually control yourself. Okay, so the 3 big things are going to be these: relevance, proximity, and prominence, or otherwise trust. Those are the big things. So let's get into these important things here. So number 1, relevance is what you do plus where you do it. Google needs to understand exactly, okay, what services you offer and where you locate them. That means having keywords on your website that show this, on your Google business profile, and then even in some review responses. That's important. So here's some examples. If you're a deck builder in Nashville, but your site never says deck builder in Nashville, Google's not going to connect the dots. They're not going to understand. Or let's say you do mold removal in Tampa, but your homepage says, we're here to help. Google doesn't know what you actually do or where you even do it. If you build fences in Birmingham, but all your pages say quality craftsmanship, you're invisible to people searching for fence installation near me. And then last example would be like if you're a roofing company, but your website only talks about being trustworthy and affordable, Google can't tell if you're a roofer, much less where you actually work. Okay, you have to tell it the most primary things there, which is going to provide relevance to rankings. Next is proximity. Okay, where the searcher is located. Where are they searching? And this one sucks for a lot of businesses too. Sometimes if you're out kind of in the sticks, but you service an area like 30 miles or more away, a lot of times this is where we tell clients like local SEO doesn't make sense for your business. Doesn't mean you shouldn't build a presence. Let's say if you do service 30 miles away, doesn't mean you shouldn't build an online presence, digital presence that tells Google you service that area. One thing that people will do is they'll set up a remote office, and it shows their signage and everything in the area in which they serve. And a lot of times that's helpful, and that's how they get around that whole proximity thing. But it is hugely important how close you are when people are searching. So Google will use their physical location to decide which business shows up first, especially when it comes to the map pack. If someone searches fence contractor near me and they're in Franklin, Tennessee, Google isn't going to show companies based in Birmingham or in Chattanooga. They're going to be in Franklin, Tennessee. So it's just clear that you got to service the area in which you're in. So you got to help Google connect the dots on all this. So let's get into this a little bit more here. So this is important. That's why I want to dive a little bit deeper into this part of it. So here's how you do it. So number 1, you update your Google business profile. How do you do this? You make sure you've listed every city, every town, every zip code you actually want to work in, not just where your physical address is, okay? So example, let's say my office is in Pelham, Alabama, but I regularly do jobs in Hoover, Vestavia Hills, and Alabaster. These cities need to be listed as service areas, right? And these are all suburbs south of Birmingham, Alabama. So it can't just be I do Pelham or I do Birmingham. It needs to be all of these little cities in here need to be listed showing that I service those areas. Okay, next, you want to add local content. This is huge. You want to add local content to your website via forms of blog posts and location pages. And here's where most people miss this, where back in the day you didn't need this necessarily, and this is where they a lot of people do what we call national SEO rankings instead of the rankings for local. And this local content's what makes you the authority in the local area. So looking into this, Google looks at your website to see where you do business. So an example would be like you want to create location-specific pages like Deck Builder in Vestavia Hills. And that's going to help boost what we call the proximity relevance to the location. So Google lets people know that, hey, we do business in this area. Next, use real photos plus project locations. This is where the iPhone is great, or most phones for that matter, to when they take photos. That's where a lot of people take photos, even if they're like contractors use Company Cam a lot. It geotags the location, which is great because when that gets uploaded to Google, Google sees the location, so it provides relevance for that area. So photos from your phone are great because they're geotagged. Just said it. So examples would be like photos with location data and content, like here's a recent fence we built in Woodstock, Georgia, just to help reinforce like where you actually work. And last thing, when connecting the dots when it comes to proximity, right, is going to be customer reviews in different areas. So a steady stream of reviews is needed and it needs to be consistent, right? But showing up in different locations. So if you can get a lot of really great companies know how to prompt homeowners or people that they've done business with to get them to write a review that has this stuff in it. Like they'll ask them questions or give them examples. So like a great example of a good review from a homeowner, let's say if you're a contractor, we hired this business, right, for a new fence installation at our home in Madison, which would be Alabama, and they knocked it out of the park. The crew showed up on time. They cleaned up after themselves, and the final results look amazing. I've already recommended them to my brother in Huntsville, right? So now we've got relative location areas in the review that shows that we do business in that area. Last ranking factor that you can control we're going to talk about is prominence or trust. So the big thing here is how you're actually trusted online. Now, a quick story. I had a friend of mine call me last night for recording this video, and they're like, hey, we're looking at a contractor to come do all this remodeling work. And that's a lot of work. And they said, do you know anything about these businesses? So the first thing I did was like, no, I don't know anything about them. So I pulled them up online. I looked at their website, social media presence, all that stuff. He told me what they quoted. And between the two, one was like more than double than the other. And I was like, okay, I get that. But they also had a bigger social media presence. They also had work that was shown, all those kinds of things. So he was about to go with the other one. So I pointed out to him, I was like, hey man, they don't have a lot of reviews. None of them are that great. And all their photos that they show are stock photos. They're not even real photos of the project. So how do you trust that they can do the work? You got to have that stuff there. So that was another reason why I was like, hey, you may want to look at these other ones. So I looked online, pulled up a couple of businesses that had like case studies that showed like their projects. They showed their before and afters. They showed their reviews. They had all these things that made people trust them online. Okay. So having reviews, citations, online mentions, overall activity is massive when it comes to building trust. The more your business shows up across the web, especially with the same consistent information, the more Google trusts you. You get trust signals. And this is including social media. That's why social media is still, it's hugely important. And if you're not doing social media content, it plays a huge role into getting people to trust your business and even into some SEO factors and even into some AI stuff. So we'll get into that. So let me go over ways that you can kind of help yourself out here online. So quick tip number one. List your business on at least 20 plus reputable directories. So that we're talking about Yelp, Angie's, Better Business Bureau, Houzz, with the exact same name, address, and phone number. Even the structure of the address, even the structure of the phone number. If the phone number's got parentheses around the area code, it needs to be the same everywhere. Social media, website, all these directories, all the same. Hugely important to Google. Next thing, use a tool like Whitespark or Bright Local. You can audit your citations and fix any inconsistent listings that are happening. Number three, turn every happy customer into a review. So make this part of your job completion checklist. Ask them, text them, follow up. Make sure you're getting good, positive, happy reviews. And in detail, like we talked about down here, right? If you can prompt them to do this type of review here, even better. All right, number 4, don't just get reviews, aim for a mix. Get some on Yelp, get some on Facebook, and industry-specific sites that you make you look more legit, right? So it's okay to get some on social media. While, yes, we want them on Google, and that helps with rankings there, but if you can get more on other sites or have them duplicate it, even better. Number 5, set a monthly goal for new reviews. So even 3 to 5 fresh ones a month keeps your profile active and trustworthy. The more, the better. Number 6, use social media as a credibility booster. Share reviews, post projects, tag locations, keep your online presence active. Okay, social media is massive for this. If you can get somebody to help you with this, even better. And number 7, join your local chamber of commerce, sponsor a local event. These often result in authoritative local backlinks, great for SEO and brand trust. All right, so those are the 3 ranking factors that you can control, things that you can do. Don't have to hire anybody else to do them. That's it there. What will drive us into why local SEO, is the number 1 recommendation of marketing strategy that we use for long-term strategies for clients and local businesses, and why it's so much better than paid ads. And the reason simply is this. Most of the time when people see your ad, unless you have a really good one, like a really good video ad, they're never just like, oh, wow, I love this ad. This is amazing. And that's why they do business with you, right? It's typically not the case. It's all the other stuff that they see online that gets them to trust your business, do the research, trust that you have the social proof, trust that you're doing the right things, and that is when they're going to call you, even if they see an ad, right? Sometimes the ad is just to pay to get in front of them, to grab their attention long enough to show them all the great things that you've built on your digital real estate online. Most of the time for SEO, right, this is the SEO factor, is people say things like, hey, they had great reviews and showed up everywhere online. That's your long-term strategy. That's what you want to build, and it takes time. That's why when we do SEO strategies, usually they take 6 to 12 months. But if you're getting more people to just find your business organically, you're saving money on ads, okay? This is costing you money. This is saving you money. And I know some people will be like, well, you pay a marketing company to do these things. We don't have to. Do this stuff yourself. And even if you do pay a marketing company, let's say they charge like $1,500 a month and you do it for 12 months. Let's say that's 18 grand. Let's say in that 18 grand you spent over a 12-month period, it got you an additional like 20 jobs, which netted you 10 a piece, which is another $200,000. I would trade $18,000 for $200,000 any day. So just think about that. All right. So now that we've gotten into how you show up on Google, we got to talk about your website structure and how we make it optimize for local SEO. So we're going to give you the one that we use for all of our clients when we're building out a new website, doing a redesign on a site, or we're just simply starting from scratch or starting a site that's already been built. This is how we structure them. So if you look here, we're going to zoom in just a little bit. So it starts with your homepage. Now, this isn't perfect. Yes, some websites have more different things, but for the most part, here's the primary things that you need on your website. So number 1, on the homepage, you need a main service in a specific location. Okay, let's say fence company in Birmingham, Alabama, or dentist office in Franklin, Tennessee. I'm just going to use those because they're off the top of my head. That needs to be your main, what we call your H1 title. Okay, H1 is the most primary top of that page, the main header on the page, and Google sees that and recognizes that. Next, you need your services listed. Okay, so you want to have a list of all the services that you offer. Then you can go into an About Us section. Why choose us? Here's more about our company. Then you can do testimonials, which is massive, and then have some blog posts here or there, right? And then in your footer, you have typical things in there that have to be specific. Like some people will embed their Google Business Profile map in there. Some people will put a contact form. Some people typically put all their links to their privacy policies and all that stuff are out down in the footer. Okay. Now, the services pages will link you down into an individual service page. All right. And I know for some people they're thinking, why didn't it just link to the individual pages? Well, Google reads it this way, where it's like, oh, you're talking about services you offer. Great. That's going to link me into more information. And so on your services pages, you're going to talk about your primary H1 here being our services in this specific location, right? And then, so like, fence installation services in Montgomery, Alabama. And then you have service number 1 listed, what you do, service number 2, and number 3, right? And then each one of these is going to be linked to an actual service page. So when you come down to your service page, typically you're going to have the list of your service as an H1, right? Being the main header title on your page. And then you're going to have like a photo or more about the project inside of there. Okay. Same thing here. Another one going to your service 2 page and then your service 3 page. Now these are typically more complex as you go, but for the gist, right? If you're having to just bare bones this thing, this is the structure you need. All right. Once you've done that, okay, you also have a blog post page. Okay. Usually you put your blogs here. A lot of times on the home page is down towards the bottom is more information, but here, right, we want to put a set of blog posts, and this is where a lot of times some of your service area business page or service area blogs posts are coming in, your local authority, your industry authority, all that stuff's coming into here and showing your company as fresh content in your local area. So like this here, we really want to call this fresh content. Let's do that. This is where most things are updated, is in this blog post page here. Okay, then about us, once again, just about your business, your team, right, or the owner, more testimonials, then your main footer, and then of course contact us page. And here's the big thing with contact us page most people forget and or don't do, is you need your Google Business Profile map embedded on the actual site that connects Google Business Profile with your website, and Google needs to see that connection together. And of course, have your contact form there on that part there. All right. Now, we understand website structure for local SEO. Now we've got to talk about the elephant in the room, AI. Now with AI, a lot of people are saying, oh, we should be doing SEO for AI and everything should be geared around AI search, and it's not really so true. What you have to think is and understand and kind of question yourself is, will their AI choose your business, or they're going to skip you for somebody else? The AI has to search somewhere for a question that somebody asks. It has to go somewhere and find it, right? It has to go figure out what it is. Hey, I need a new privacy fence for my house, or I got a plumbing leak. And if you put that into an AI software like a ChatGPT, it's got to go somewhere and find the information. So where you're going to lose out, or where you're going to get skipped by AI, is if you have the most generic page on the planet. Okay, most generic page on the planet, which is like just a home page or about us or contact us, just generic, boring, doesn't give a lot of information. Or here's a page that we are actually building out right now that will be chosen by AI, is one that's got a header, right, a menu. We've got a properly H1 tag, fence company that's in Maryland. We got their services listed. We got who they're about. We got their process and how they manage things. We got their testimonials. We have frequently asked questions that people ask in their market and local area. We got their blog post and then a contact form right here. This is going to be chosen by AI long before this. Okay. Now, how do we AI proof it? Let's talk about it. So there's 4 different things you can do to help AI proof your business. All right. 1, structure clear content. Make it easy for AI to read, understand, and summarize. This, once again, why it's so important, why we say local SEO, even if it's not a ranking factor, it's just simply like getting your digital real estate on point and looking great and relevant, is so important. And having a clear content structure in place is a massive way to AI proof your business. Next, we're going to talk about is being specific. We build decks is not enough. You want to say something like, we build composite decks and pressure treated wood decks in Charlotte, North Carolina. That lets me know exactly what you do and is more in depth. I know some people will be like, well, what if we do build a multiple kind of decks? Great, you can put that in there. But when you start digging deep into your service or location plus services pages, you want to get very specific about the types of decks you install And that's why when we do the website design here, and I'll show you, is we get it down further into like, we do this primary service, and here's our services here broken down a little bit further, and then we go down into the individual pages where we're going to be very specific about what we do. That's important. That's how you AI proof it. Okay. Now, next thing we want to talk about is layer your relevance. What does that mean? Add frequently asked questions, putting customer reviews or testimonials, putting in real actual photos of the jobs and the works that you do. And then clearly name service and location pages that you build out so people know where you do work and it's relevant. Okay. Once again, if you look at this example here, we've pretty much done all of those things. Last one, pages can be scanned. Now, what do we mean by that? Google does what they do, what we call crawling the page, which means they scan your whole page and they look at it, read at it, and then decide, is it relevant? Is it good content? Is it fresh? So when somebody searches for something specific, is it going to make sense to show them your website for them to call you about a service? So you want to use what we call headers, H1 and H2s. You want to use bulleted lists, short paragraphs, because what happens is AI reads like a human skimmer and wants clarity and not clutter. Dude, I just butchered that, didn't I? I'm going to keep this on the video. I butchered trying to read that. Let me just read it again to you so you can see it on the screen. But so use headers, bulleted lists, and short paragraphs. AI reads like a human skimmer, so they want clarity and not clutter. So don't put a bunch of junk on there that's not necessary to or relevant to what the people need to know. So like long paragraphs don't mean squat. They don't care. Okay, keep that in mind. So those 4 things right there will help you AI proof your business. So that way you stay relevant as AI becomes more of a factor when it comes to searching for services in your local market. Now, that brings us into ranking. How can you start ranking this month? 3 different things you can do. Start with your Google Business Profile. We talked about this earlier. All right, so you want to go into your Google Business Profile. First thing you want to do is fix your categories. Choose your primary category wisely. So let's say if you're an HVAC company, make sure you choose that. Some HVAC companies also do electrical and plumbing. Don't choose those as the primary. If your primary service is, I do fences, I'm a dentist, I'm a chiropractor, I do roofs, make that the primary service category. Don't be like, well, I do roofs, but we can also do these other things. I'll be a general contractor. No. Whatever your primary service is, make that the primary thing. And that needs to show up on your website, right? So if you're a fence contractor, it needs to show that you install fences or you're a fence company in a specific area. And then you can add the relevant ones second. Okay, upload fresh photos. So we talked about this before, but having geotag photos from fresh job sites, from projects, from customers, from whatever, from your business is hugely important. So if you're doing something, if you're doing a job site in a area that's outside of your typical radius, right, your 10 to 20 mile radius, make sure you have it geotagged. And then post weekly updates to your Google Business Profile. There's a post feature in there. You can add promotions. You can show finished jobs or works. You can add frequently asked questions. You just need to continue to show Google that you're active. Now, is it a massive deal as far as ranking? Not necessarily. But what it can do is when they do show your business, it will show people that you're active and that you are relevant and that you keep up to date on the stuff, so they're more likely to choose your company. Okay. Next thing to start ranking this month is your website structure. Now, I know not everybody here is a web developer, and I know you probably don't understand anything about websites, but you can always go to somewhere like Fiverr or, Upwork, and you can get somebody to build it if you give them these things that they need to do, or get somebody to go into your current website and fix these. Or if you have a marketing company that didn't know what they're doing, get them to go to fix these things if they're not doing these things, right? So, one, create local service pages. So at minimum, one per core service and one per major city you service. So, fence repair in Trussville, Alabama. That would be an example. Okay. Next, fix your headlines. These are the H1 and H2s that we're talking about. So each page should lead with what it is and where you do it. So fence company or fence repair in Trussville, Alabama, that leads that page. Or roof repair in Birmingham, Alabama, that leads what that page is. And then below that, the H2 tags or H2 headers or headlines will be more information. Here's the different types of repairs. Next thing is your frequently asked questions. So you want to get 3 to 5 common questions on each service page so you can capture what we call long tail searches. So things that people search often that they have questions about, we want to put that as an FAQ on your website structure so that they will actually read through them and it'll actually help them, right? It's useful content. And then the last thing is add proof. Show your work, customer testimonials, and then put a bold call to action on every single page. Make it super easy for them to call you and get a hold of you. Okay, and the last thing, reviews. Here's the key to this. 3 things. Ask after every job. So if you're a contractor, and we talk about contractors a lot, but we also service other companies. Contractors are our primary business, but after every job, every customer, ask for a review. Okay, make it part of your process. Make it part of your sales process. Make it part of your follow-up. Get a review from these people. Okay, next, respond to every single one. Even if somebody says something bad about you, you need to respond to it. Google just, once again, sees this as active engagement, so it's signaling that you're active business online. And then add natural keywords as necessary. Now, here's what some people will do is they'll try to use AI to keywords, we call keyword stuffing. They'll add more keywords in there than they need to. You don't have to. Just something simple like, hey, thanks, John. Glad you loved your roof replacement in Hoover, Alabama, right? Or glad you loved your new, glad we could replace your new roof in Hoover, Alabama. Something relevant, okay? So now you know how to actually get started ranking this month. We give you some actions here. Don't forget, if you want this entire playbook we've got here, go over to Facebook or Instagram or even below this video here. Send me a DM on one of these profiles that says SEO Playbook, and we will send it right over to go with this video. Now, I know most service-based businesses stop at just simply getting found on Google, right? But that's only half the battle. But like, yeah, we're showing up, we're getting a lot of traffic. But even if you're showing up on Google, you're still losing jobs and revenue if your website doesn't actually convert people. So in the next video, somewhere around here on the screen, whatever you'll find it, I'm going to break down the top website mistakes that are costing you leads and revenue, and then show you how to exactly fix them in less than a day. So click that, watch now, and we'll see you on the other side.